everyone. Thank you for joining us this evening. I'm sure that most of you are really surprised after Monday's episode that I said I wasn't going to see you for 2 weeks. But something happened to our Facebook Live. It was up until 2, 3 in the morning because I actually watched it and commented myself through the evening. And we woke up in the morning to some emails from people saying, where's it gone? It wasn't there to watch, and lo and behold, it wasn't there. Facebook can't tell us, it's just one of those things, a glitch, and it's disappeared. So, having spoken to Laura, we agreed that we would come back tonight. It was all very confusing with it being a bank holiday. We got all our days wrong, and so I'm glad that those of you have realised that we meant Thursday and not Wednesday. I'm really glad that you've joined us again. So I'm just going to ask John the question that I always ask him every week. Has anybody joined us, John?
We've got 23 so far.
So we've got 23 of you so far, which is perfect. Give us a wave if you're there. Let us know that you're...
Jane, we've got Karina, Kat.
Thank you, Kat, Karina, Jane, I know you all. Dawn, fantastic. I do know I've got a couple of followers that are watching this evening, but they can't comment because they're at work. We won't shout out who they are. So what we're going to do tonight is that we're going to repeat exactly what we did on Monday. So those of you seen it on Monday night, and some of you have actually made the fudge and sent me pictures of them, which is fantastic. So I will share them later on when I get on holiday. Those of you that didn't actually get to have a go at making the fudge, Laura is going to go through the whole procedure again, and I am going to show you how to decorate a dome cake. So I'm going to get John to walk over to Laura, and but let's just talk you through it. So this is the cake we actually did on Monday, okay? Now I actually made a real cake in these Wilton pans. These pan sets actually come as a set of 2, okay? So you get 2 halves, and then on here they call it a sports ball, but I've used it to make this. And it's actually really easy. This was a 10-ounce mix, 5 ounces in each one. I just jammed them together. You saw me do it on Monday. I buttercreamed it, and then I showed you how to use the nifty nozzles. The colours that we used was the Christmas red colour splash, the pistachio colour splash, the leaf, and the rose cup. I have actually put the whole lot on the website as a set, if you want to buy it as a set, as a whole set, and I've also put it in as a partial set so that you can just buy the nozzles and the colours. The fudge that we're going to make tonight, thankfully we didn't eat it all once we realised that we didn't have a new Facebook Live, so we've saved it, and this is the fudge that Laura is going to make. I can't tell you which is soft and which is hard because we put it all together to take into work, but Laura is going to make the tablet fudge, which I call chalk fudge, Scottish fudge, whatever it is called, but she's going to make that and show you how simple it is to do. And I am going to pass it over to Laura.
Okay. So I'm just going to get my pan back on. I'm just going to go through the ingredients with you. So already in the pan, and it's a heavy base pan that I'm using, which you need, and then you need your whisk. It's 115 grams of butter, which I've already melted in there, as you can see, and it's just on a low heat at the moment. So the next ingredient you need is 397 gram of carnation milk, which we're just going to pour into there. And you can use any carnation milk, it doesn't have to be this brand, but it's a 397 gram tin. And then we're just going to melt that into the butter and just keep whisking until it's incorporated. I'll just do that now.
What nozzle's on the cake over there, Carol?
Rose Cup.
The nozzle that I used on Monday was the Rose Cup, and I'm actually going to use the night that's made tonight, and I'm going to use it in a different colour. Why not got the opportunity to do it again?
Okay, so now that I've got the condensed milk and butter mixed in together, it should look like this. And the next thing we're going to do is add in 500 grams of icing sugar, and tonight I'm using the salted caramel. You don't need to whisk it, you just put 1/3 of the bag in and mix that in. The only time you would need to sieve it is if you've already had this bag open. So with this recipe, it is the kind of recipe that once you start to add in this icing sugar, you can't walk away. You just got to stay with it and keep whisking all the time so that the butter doesn't burn.
So don't answer your mobile, don't answer the door.
Yeah. Kids will have to fend for themselves. Tea will have to be on hold.
Dogs will have to wait.
You just have to spend the next 20 minutes working your arms out. Okay, so we've got that. Get the rest of the bag in. So other flavours that are good for fudge from our range is the vanilla latte. The raspberry ripple's really nice. Black cherry. You can use the chocolate icing sugars as well, so you could make the chocolate mint, the Jaffa twist. They all come out really nice. Although for some reason the ones with added cocoa powder don't come out as crumbly. They're more to the softer side of fudge.
Someone's asked if we're going to London this weekend.
No. So just let me tell you, we're not actually going to London this weekend. The reason is that John and I had already pre-booked a holiday, so we're going on holiday in the morning. But Windsor Cake Craft are actually selling our products for us. So they've got a range of sugar and crumbs flavoured icing sugars. They won't be doing tasters, but they do have a range of nifty nozzles. And they will be doing demos there. So I'm not quite sure who's doing the demos. I think it's normally Claire who does them. So pop over to their stand, and they're looking after our range for us. So you'll see that I'm actually mixing buttercream ready for our cake, but I need you to come back to Laura because she needs to show you different types of consistencies.
Okay, so it's gonna take so in the recipe that's on our website, and I'll just tell you the recipe website. It's just on the back of all our packaging, and it's just here. It's www.sugarandcrumbsmixingitup.com, and all the recipes on there being tried and tested. So we know that they all work. You just have to make sure that you follow the steps.
So just to let you know, I don't know what John's actually wandering around looking at the moment, but John, come over here a minute. So when we talk about sugar and crumbs, the flavoured icing sugars, basically, so that you all understand, you can use our flavoured icing sugars in actually any recipe that has sugar in the recipe. So all you've got to do is take away the caster sugar element, replace it with our icing sugar, and take away the flavouring because our icing sugar is already flavoured. So it's not just for buttercream. We make shortbread biscuits, cheesecake, mousse, sweets, syrups, milkshakes. In fact, I've got Holly, my granddaughter, here. Holly, which is your favourite milkshake? Go on, let me make it. Raspberry Ripple.
We had bubblegum at the weekend, didn't we?
Yeah. So Holly always loves to have a milkshake, and Laura makes them for her on a regular basis. You can actually add our flavoured icing sugars to fresh cream as well, fresh yoghurt. So if you just want to liven up your cream, make it a little bit more interesting, then add a tablespoon of the flavoured icing sugar. It's absolutely delicious. Gives you a different dimension. And as I say, the recipe site is on the back of every single bag of icing sugar that you buy off us, and it's sugarandcrumbsmixingitup.com. I think John zoomed in there on the back. All the recipes Laura and I have made over a period of time, or bloggers have made them for us. So they're all things that have been tried and tested by us. And is Laura ready for you back? Okay, so let me tell you what I'm going to do. You need a tin? Oh, where's the tin? Right, ladies, I'm just going to have a mad panic, go get some parchment paper.
Parchment paper's here.
Parchment paper and a brownie tin. So this is the thing, I'm just going to go get a brownie tin. It'd be a good idea if we put it in something.
This is what happens when you're live. And you forget everything. Take two, we rehearsed it, and we've on Monday, and we've forgot the tin. And I was just thinking where I was actually going to put the fudge, and we did. But we'll grab a tin, and luckily the fudge has got another 6 minutes yet or so before we need to pour it out, so we don't need to worry too much just yet. But I'm going to show you in a couple of minutes what I want to show you is how to make fudge without having to have a thermometer. So I want to show you what it looks like at the stage where you would take it out if you want the soft fudge, which is this one. So it's a little bit paler in colour. They all come out of caramel colour, but the soft fudge is slightly lighter. And then this one is the crumbly fudge, whether John can put them together and you can see the slight variation. But this one will chop nice and soft, and then this is your more crumbly tablet of fudge. Once we have made the fudge, 30 minutes after we've made it,
I tell you, you can see when it's live. They forgot the tin. Okay, I can't find the brownie tin in my speed of running out there, panicking. So, if John wants to pop round, I'm just going to quickly show you.
When does the 20 minutes start?
The 20 minutes start from when you put the butter in the pan. So it's approximately 20 minutes, but when I timed it the other day, it was 15 minutes to get the soft fudge and 18 to 20 minutes to get the crumbly fudge.
And you've still got the heat on?
I've still got the heat on, yeah. All the way through, the heat's still on. And we're just trying to get it up to temperature. So I will show you when it's the time to get the soft fudge. I'll show you what you need to be looking out for. We're not quite there yet. I've still got some exercise to do.
So I know you ladies love it when we go live because, as you know, Laura and I are hobby bakers, and we do these things to show you that, you know what, if you're at home and you want to have a go at it, then come and have a go at it. We don't want to make this into a professional setup where you're actually scared of doing things. What are you smiling at, John? John's smiling and waving.
I'm just thinking we're far from professional tonight with no tin.
So we just want it so that you. I did actually think that there was something missing from over here in this big space that I've got, but putting in the tin wasn't part of it. But I did remember to tell you which pan this time to use, so that's lucky. Anyway, I'll just run through the ingredients just one more time.
You've got the heat on all the time.
I've got the heat. The heat is on all the time. So from the minute we put the butter in, we're melting the butter. The only reason I turned it off is that I'd pre-melted the butter while we was waiting to go live. But how you would do it is you'd put the butter in and melt it, and then once the butter's melted, add in the condensed milk, and then gradually add in the icing sugar. And from that minute, you have to stay with it and just keep mixing. Keep whisking away. My tin's ready now, so we don't need to worry anymore about the tin. So, if also what else you need to have ready is if you're going to add any chopped nuts or fruit or colouring, sprinkles or anything like that to your fudge, that also needs to be ready, which luckily we're not using tonight, so I don't need to worry about dashing off to get that.
That was planned.
Yeah, that was planned. So all we've done here is we've just lined the tin with some parchment paper, which it is easier to use parchment paper than rubbing butter in because it doesn't come out as neat. It's quite a bit more difficult. And 30 minutes after it's gone into the tin, once it goes into there, it starts to set. So it's easier to pick it up by the baking parchment then and then slicing up.
Can you run through all the ingredients again?
Do what, sorry?
Can you run through all the ingredients again?
Yes, sorry. So the ingredients is 115 grams of unsalted butter, which I melted first, and then 397 gram tin of condensed milk, which is this size, and then 500 grams of your flavoured icing sugar, and that's of your choice. So tonight we're doing the salted caramel, which is one of our favourites.
Can you use an electric whisk?
No, I wouldn't recommend using an electric whisk, just because it's getting very hot while I'm stood here. And luckily my mum did tell me to take my cardigan off because the other night it got too hot. You're just standing over a heat for 20 minutes, so your electric whisk is then going to heat up as well. So I wouldn't recommend using that.
It's not the whisking that actually, well, the whisking's part of it, but it's the heat element, isn't it?
Yeah, and it's just, you don't need to whisk that fast, it's more just about moving it round constantly. So we are getting there now. As it's heating up, it's starting to get thicker, so it's getting a little bit more harder to stir, but we'll keep at it. You can see it's thickening.
Can you use silicone pans?
To put the fudge in?
I would assume so.
Yeah, yeah, you can, yeah. But again, I would line them with the baking parchment. I normally use a brownie tin. So you want something that's a square kind of shape, but not too flat, so that you can get a nice height on your fudge. Okay, so we're just starting to get a few little bubbles there. I don't know whether you can see them, John. You can see, so they're starting to, I don't know whether you can see it. So there's just a few little bubbles coming, so that's when it is starting to get up to the temperature of the soft fudge. So I'm going to tell you, if you want the soft fudge, when is that point to take out. So just getting a few more. Now if you are adding any colour in, I would add it at this stage. And it's just because the mixture's nice and thick now, it's nearly cooked. It's still easy enough to stir that colour in if you wanted to colour it. And what we're looking for now for the soft fudge is that when I'm whisking, it's starting to show the sides of my pan, which it did do on this side, but so it's just on a medium heat. So the bubbles are starting to get a bit faster now. So I'll just put this on. So I'm just going to show you with the thermometer what the fudge is up to, but just so you know that by look on its own you can know when your fudge is ready. So you must put your thermometer in at the side, because the hottest part is in the centre of your pan and you're not going to get the right reading. Okay, so it's still going up, so just bear with me and I'll tell you what temperature this is now.
Some more people joining us, so if you can repeat the ingredients again.
Yeah, so the ingredients are 115 grams of unsalted butter, 397 gram bag of icing sugar, of condensed milk, and 500 gram bag of icing sugar. So if you just look at this now, John, so this is where you need to take it out. So I'm at 115 degrees, and if I just stir that, you can see that it's separating away from the side of the pan. That's where you need to stop for your soft fudge. We're just going to take it a little bit further tonight, and to get that crumbly tablet fudge, it's literally within minutes of getting the soft fudge. So we're just going to take it another 2 minutes and we'll have that crumbly fudge, which is what everybody seems to get.
Was that 115 or 150?
115 grams of unsalted butter, 397 gram tin of condensed milk, and 500 grams of icing sugar. I'll put the recipe up in a minute. So this is getting to the stage of the tablet fudge. So it's getting more and more harder to stir, and my arms are absolutely tired out now. It is a good workout, so there is some exercise involved, which means that you can eat it knowing that you did do a workout first. Okay, right, John, it's ready. So the tablet fudge is about 118 to 120, and this is what it should look like. So I'm just going to turn that off. Back away a little bit, John, so I don't pour it on you. I'm just going to tip that out there. And one thing that is really important, and what my husband did the first time I made fudge, is that he walked in and he went, "That looks nice," and he stuck his finger in it. Do remember that this is 120 degrees and is going to burn you. I'm just going to give it a little shake out. And there we go. So we're just going to leave that now. So once it's in the tin, it's starting to cool with the coolness of the tin. So it's all starting to set, and it will start to have a crust on the top within a couple of minutes. But within half an hour, you can slice that up and serve it. And there you go. I am hot.
Right, you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready. Okay, so just let me get my bowl out of the way. Thank you, Laura, very much. Right, okay then. So, as usual, I always like to show you something about nifty nozzles. And I'm just going to quickly show you how to make this dome cake. So, as I said to you before, I made this cake. John comes round again. I made this round cake with a 10 ounce sponge mix, just a Victoria sponge mix. I used these tins. And we do sell these on our site, by the way, and it's actually this 3D sports ball pan set. Okay, it comes with the 2 tins, the 2 stands. You pop them on a baking tray, make sure they're nice and level, and you'll get 2 nice halves of the cake. And they're also ideal for the dome cakes if you want to. And then all I've done is jammed them together, coated them with a coat of buttercream, and on this particular one, which I did on Monday, you saw me demo on Monday, I actually used the Rose Cup Nozzle, okay, which is number 18 large. I used the 352 leaf, sorry about the ping, Laura's just on the computer there. She's trying to log into Facebook Live. And John? So she is logging into Facebook Live. I used a 352 leaf, and these are the 2 colours I've used for this particular cake. And this was the fudge that we made on Monday. Now, I'm just going to quickly demo this one again for you, because people are always asking me about the buttercream. So John, if you want to come over here. So the consistency of the buttercream is key. This is where everybody goes wrong. So I just want to show you it moving around. Okay, so your buttercream needs to be pliable, like this. If it's not pliable, like this, then that means that it's too stiff. And you have to squeeze hard on your bag, yeah? That means it's too stiff. You should be able to squeeze out nice and soft. So I hope you've been able to see how soft that is. I can't really tell you anymore. What I've used tonight is I've used 1 kilo of icing sugar, and I've used 500 grams of unsalted butter. The butter I use is value butter. I never buy an expensive butter. I always beat it really well, and I always beat it until it's white. So John can just pop over to my sink here. So this is what's left on the mixer, and I beat the butter first until it's nearly white, and then I add the icing sugar once the butter has been well and truly beaten, and you can sort of see how white what's left on here. And then if you pop over to here, I am going to use the Night Jasmine nozzle for this one, just to give it a different effect. Yeah, and it's really very simple. To make this lovely effective cake, once you've baked your sponge and crumb coated it, it's really very, very easy. Now I will tell you, because I am going on holiday tomorrow and I'm in a rush, this one here is actually a dummy cake. I've had to use a dummy cake because my day has been a day from hell today. One of those days you don't actually want. So this is actually a dummy cake. So what we're going to do is, if John can zoom in there, so we've got the nozzle, and we're going to squeeze in, and we're going to squeeze in, and we're going to come out, and that's flour number 1. And I'm just going to keep doing that all the way round. Okay? And you can see the flowers. So we're just going to keep going round. I'm only going to do half the cake. Now there's a couple of things. Those who missed us on Monday, I need to tell you that there was a couple of prizes. So some of you have been signing up for the Spring Baker, which was £50 worth of over £50 worth of goodies. And the winner for that was Samantha McNeil, and she was the winner of that prize. So we have notified Samantha, and I believe she sent her address. And then every time I do a Facebook Live, I do a clean up, and I come back after clean up and do a 10-minute, half an hour question time where you can ask me any questions, because as you know, John and I are blind as bats, and when we are doing the Facebook Live, the questions come in that fast that John has to keep taking his glasses off to be able to... Oh, my flowers are getting a bit big there. So, flowers are getting just a little bit too big there. So I'm just going to keep going in again. So, Johnny, you managed to get that. So you see how we've missed that one there? That's because my bag is coming to an end. Yeah? So let me refill my bag. Got a little bit more buttercream. So yeah, so I do a question time afterwards, and that means you can ask me any questions. That means I can sit down in front of the computer and I can actually see what you're saying and answer anything that you need me to ask. So what I'm going to do is decorate half of this cake, do a clean up, and then I'm going to come back on again and tell you about, answer any questions you've got. So John, if you want to come back over here again. So all we're going to do is we're just going to keep building this up, and all you're going to do, it's so simple. I'm going to keep building it up, building it up, building it up. So for some reason I've now developed the shakes, but don't worry, if you've got the shakes as well. I've got a lot of ladies who actually tell me they've got shaky hands. So I'm using the Night Jasmine. It's quite nicely effect. So I'm just going to go here, so you go all the way around. It's such a lovely cake, this, when it's done. And people, you can make mistakes on it, and people won't notice. So you see how I've just lost half a flour? Just scrape it off. Let's go back in again. I would have probably been better coating the cake tonight. So we've got a splodge there. That means my buttercream's just getting a little bit warm. Yeah. A little bit warm, but don't worry. Oh, it's getting very warm now. So I'm sure some of you there going, that's just what mine looks like. Who's got one of those? So, because this kitchen is absolutely boiling, now that Laura's done fudge in it. Do you want to just open the back door, Laura? Let some cool air in. Because I'm actually dying here with the heat. So we're just going to keep building up. Keep building up. Now keep building up. Keep building up. There we go. And then we're going to get the leaf tip. And some ladies ask me, why did I have my cloths in a dishcloth? So when you've got your nozzles, when on a cold night or whatever, warm night, just to stop your nozzles, if you prepared them before, like I prepared them because we're coming on live, I just stick them on top of a damp cloth, and that actually stops my nozzles hardening up. Okay, so I've got my leaf nozzle ready, and in the leaf bag here, I've actually put the green in and I put some orange in because I like to give it some effect. So let me just carry on here. So all we're going to do is put the leaves in. You can make them any size you want. Just going to squeeze them here. Never done an orange cake before, I actually think it looks alright. So, and then if I go down here, just do some bigger leaves down here. John, are you zooming in? So, all of you wanted to see John, and he doesn't show his face, as you all know, but I believe some of you are private friends of mine, and you found a picture of him on my Facebook. So that's John outed now. So, what do you think about that, Holly? They all want to see Grandad. Hey? So we're just going to keep putting leaves in, and you can see how nice this is pulling together. So I'm not going to do all of it now. I'm actually going to finish it in the during clean-up session. But Caroline wants me to demo another nozzle tonight for you. Just let me get some kitchen roll, 1 second. Or I can pass in the kitchen roll a minute. 1 second. So always keep your nozzles clean. I'm just going to clean this one up here now. And then we're going to put some leaves on here. There we go. I'm going to fill everything in. Yeah. So we do have a couple of ladies that have problems, and I'm just going to do 2 little demos. One on biscuits, because that's my tip of practicing. So let's just move this one out of the way. Let's just clear that up. And that is 1/2 of the dome cake. And I shall, not dome cake, the spear cake. And I am going to finish that off afterwards. So what do we think? Does everyone like it, John? Yeah? Come on, John, speak. Did they like it? Did they not like it?
Yeah.
Yeah? Okay, that's
We've got our time delay.
We've got our time delay.
With that little leaf nozzle, can you just show the different types of leaves you can do that
Yeah,
one?
I will do. So just let me
Yeah, lots of
wash my hands a minute.
The mysterious John.
Pardon?
Somebody said the mysterious John.
Mysterious John, who's that?
John.
He's mysterious to me.
Mysterious.
Right, okay then. So, a lot of you ladies here, John, if we come over here. So when I'm telling you ladies about practicing, some of you go off and make cakes. You know what? Don't go and make cakes. Let's get the basis of this organised first. And that is, let's get your buttercream sorted out and the consistency of that. And then just use one colour, okay, for your nozzles, and then you can scrape it off your biscuit, put it back in the bowl, play with it as much as you want. When you've had enough, put it all back in the bowl, cling film it or put an airtight lid on it, and then come back and use it for another day. So I am just going to show you the leaf nozzle because somebody's requested that I do that. 1 second. So this is the leaf nozzle. This is the 352 leaf, and I push this nozzle a hell of a lot. So you see it's got a little V there, and then all we're going to do, it's a Wilton leaf. It's a Wilton 352, and you could do with having as many of these as possible, and I'll just show you a couple of things in a minute. So with this leaf nozzle, you can do a little tiny leaf, and all you're going to do is squeeze it, form a base, pull it off. Squeeze it, form a bigger base, bigger middle, stop squeezing, pull off. We're going to form a bigger base, bigger middle, stop squeezing, pull off. And we're going to do exactly the same again, bigger, and there it is again. And those are all the different sizes of leaves that you can perform just from this one nozzle. So you don't need loads of different leaf nozzles, okay? And then another little tip I'm going to show you to do with the biscuit. So if you want to, you back, John? So if you want to, you could make yourself a sunflower, okay? So all we're going to do the leaf. So just imagine that this is bright yellow, yeah? And this is a cupcake. You just go all the way around. I have got the shakes tonight, ladies. I really don't know why I've got the shakes, but just think that this is bright yellow. Yeah, and then you could actually fill that in with some hundreds and thousands. Okay, you can actually do another layer if you wanted to. And if you wanted to, and that could be your sunflower, and if you wanted to, you could do it bright red, and at Christmas it could be a poinsettia. And you just put a little centre in there. And that's just with this 352 leaf nozzle. So really very, very versatile. Okay? Then Caroline has asked me, will I show you how to do the cupcake bouquet? So I'm just going to do that for you. And I think the reason John hasn't showed me on the camera tonight is I am absolutely on fire. So should I give you all a little wave? So what we're going to do, yeah, John, you need to come over here now. So what we're going to do is, we've got a little dummy cupcake, okay? And what we're going to do is we're just going to pop on a little thin coat of buttercream. Yeah? And I'm going to use this nozzle here. I'm actually going to use the jasmine, which is what I used on the big cake. 1 second. Cream and nozzle. What I used on the big cake. And I'm just going to do a little different centre for the centre of the cake. So I'm just going to form it. So when you sit your nozzle, you must sit it, when you get your nozzle, you must sit it onto the cake. Don't be looking at it like that. So you sit it onto the cake, squeeze, form a base, up and off. And my buttercream is gone really, really soft. But you know what, we're going to have to work with that. And I shall do another one in a moment. And then we're going to use the 104 Wilton tip, and you'll see that that's got a bulbous side, a wider one, and a very thin opening on there. So what we're going to do is we're going to start doing little semicircles, and you'll see that I've two-toned this bag. Where the bulbous bit is, I put mainly orange, and then with a palette knife I've squeezed in some white at the thinner end, and that will give me that colour there. So I'm just going to keep doing this half semicircle. Doesn't have to be dead neat. We're going to go around twice, and if I show it there, you should start seeing our rose form. Is that right, John? Is it forming? Yeah. So there's our rose forming, and then we're going to lie it down, and we're going to lift up, and lie it down, lift up, lie it down, lift up, lie it down, lift up, lie it down, lift up. You'll see I'm lying it down, lift up. And when I say lie it down, when we did the semicircle, we went that way for a semicircle. When I say lie it down, it's the thick end in. So you lie it down, you start in, and you lift up. So you start in, you squeeze, and you lift up, and you go round. And the reason I wanted to use the night jasmine was to give you just a different centre, because every time I do this one, I actually do a rose. So let me just get the buttercream again. So, clean my nozzle. So my day today has been absolute madness. I was in work yesterday from 5:30 in the morning till 10:30. I was back in work at 6 o'clock this morning, trying to make sure everything is done. I don't know whether John was filming that. Was you filming that then? Okay, so what we've done is we've put another rose on there, and we're going to get the 104 again. Now I can't go all the way round, so what I'm just going to do is, I'm just going to do a little half circle there, half circle there, half circle. And if you squeeze it too much, don't worry. And then I think John should be able to see there. Yeah, so that's forming quite nicely. Do you like this? And then I've got the Wilton round tip. Can you hear all those birds out there? So we've got a little round Wilton tip, and I'm just going to pop that in there. I'm just going to make a couple of little beads. Yeah, all you do is squeeze it out like a little round ball, and you can see that's, yeah. Oh, that one's gone off. Squeeze that in there. Then I've got my Wilton number 5 round, which is smaller. And then on top of these berries, I've just done it in the orange. I'm just going to squeeze it in there. Don't bash my cake, John. Yeah, there's my little berries. Hey. And then we're going to go back to the leaf nozzle now, and I'm just going to pop in a leaf in there. So I'm just going to squeeze that. So keep squeezing, 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 build it up. Yeah. And then I'm going to come round here and build one up round here. Squeeze, 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 and up. And there we've got a double-sided, well, double-sided, we've got 2 roses on 1 cupcake. And what do we think of that? Is that really pretty, that, for a wedding celebration, if you were doing your wedding cupcakes? And I really quite like the orange and the white that I've used this evening. So how's that going, John? Does everybody like it? We've all got the thumbs up, have we, ladies? Yeah? So, Laura, is your fudge set yet, then?
It needs
Laura?
half an hour.
Needs half an hour? Okay. So let me just tell you a few other things. So let me put that on there so John can show you, okay, what we've done there. So the tips that we've used there is, we've used the 104, we've used the 352 Wilton, and we've used the 10 round and the 5 round, which I haven't brought one with me, I don't think. And what else do I need to tell you? Let me pass me my phone. So who's going to make fudge? Yeah. All right then. Right, John, so if you can come on back. So, I hope you've enjoyed tonight, but just let me tell you a few things that what we've got going on in the pipeline, okay? So, as somebody asked me before, are we at Cake Out International this weekend in London? I'm really sorry we're not. John and I have booked a holiday and off we go into the sunshine tomorrow, a much needed rest. Windsor Cake Craft are representing us there at the show. They're selling our icing sugars, not all 36 flavours, but they have got a good selection of the top flavours, and they're selling nifty nozzles for us. They're also doing demos of the nifty nozzles, so go and get your nozzles from them. We're back on the 8th of May. On the 8th of May, my son is going to come and demo for us. Now, my son is a top chef in London. He's called Ryan, and he's actually going to come and make 3 easy cakes for you. They're all gluten-free. So anybody who's got gluten-free friends, family, or they've been asked to make some gluten-free, this is what he's going to make for us. He's going to make us a gluten-free carrot cake, an all-in-one mix. It's absolutely fabulous. And he's going to use that making cinnamon swirl. I've had it made with the Christmas punch, and it's to die for, okay? He's also going to make us a coconut bounty cake, which is gluten-free, and that's going to be a sliced cake. And he's going to make the all-fruit tea cake. Now, I've got to be honest, I've not tried any of those off him, so I'll have to tell you on the day how good they are. So he's going to make them on the 8th of May. Then the week after, on the 15th of May, I don't know if any of you are Twitter followers, but I have 2 very good friends on Twitter that I've actually just met through Twitter, and I've met them at the cake shows. And those people are Baking Nana, okay, which is Jackie, and Rob Allen, and they do a fabulous thing on Twitter. They do a Twitter bake-along, and they're always running little competitions along there. They've got plenty of sponsors, and if you ever want to join in, just message them and they'll let you know how to join in on the competition. They're big fans of Sugar and Crumbs as well as many other brands, but we are pleased to say that they're fans of ours as well. So they're going to come along on the 15th of May, and Rob is going to make a no-bake cheesecake with our icing sugars. Baking Nana, Jackie, she's going to make a pina colada giant cupcake, so I'm looking forward to that as well. So that's those with us on the 15th. And then back on the 20th is Laura, and Laura is going to make 22nd, sorry, got my dates wrong. So Laura's going to make marshmallows. Now that's really going to be fun. So Laura's going to make marshmallows for us.
I'm trying to remember the tin.
Yeah, I don't know what flavour, and we will put the recipe up on the website before Facebook Live so that you've got the ingredients, so you know what the ingredients are. And what I am going to say now is thank you for joining us again. And we really, really do appreciate you following us here at Sugar and Crumbs and Nifty Nozzles, the only genuine Russian flour nozzle. And for those who don't know, these are made in Russia by the original designer, Alexander, I can never say his surname, what is it, John? Alexander? Lebedev. Okay, he's the original designer as well as ourselves. All the new nozzles like Posy, Magnolia, Mimosa, they're all designs that Laura's done. Laura did the Easter Bunny, the Easter Chick, the Easter Rabbit, the Love Hearts. She's done many designs, and we work together with Alexander. So they're all the genuine Russian nozzles. So I'm going to say a goodbye, and thank you for joining us the second time this week. I really do appreciate it. It's a goodbye from Laura and Holly, who's been ever so quiet. Say goodbye, Holly. And we will see you on the 8th of May at 8 p.m. Thank you.